Talk to me, man.
Looks like I'm gonna be doing some techno music.
intro of intros. Listen, when I see stuff like that, it is a stark reminder of the talent that I do not have and the amount of creativity I don't have. I can hardly write in cursive because it is. I was told somebody this the other day. I can barely write cursive because it's too artistic. More or less, compose something as artful as that is. For those of you that don't know, we have Polo, also known as Ken, from Louisville, in the house.
What's happening?
What's up, dude? Man,
What's happening?
to watch a song like that come together in real time, I gotta say, was incredibly awesome. I enjoyed the shit out of that. I'm curious though. This was I don't know how long that video was. How long did it take you to put that together?
Making the music. Normally, when I get in the groove, it doesn't take long. It depends on all the things I'm adding into it. But doing the recording, that did take a little bit. But I was actually recording live. So
Damn.
you know, when you see me jumping, the camera was actually sitting over there, just recording, and I was. Them are real vibes. None of them are retakes.
That is so awesome. I hope one day when I grow up, I develop some sort of talent that allows me to put something like that out in the world rather than just me blabbering behind a microphone about whatever crazy bullshit comes into my head. So kudos to you. That is that's real talent that not a lot of people have. Real quick, also, we've got Ryan DeMay and Ray Eid on the show. Gentlemen, how the hell are y'all doing tonight?
That was a hell of an intro. Whatever. Hey, listen. Let's talk to Polo's agent. Let's get that license for the show. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we should be walking out with fog machines, fucking fireworks. Like, I was ready to tear my shirt off and my pants off like I was going to the basketball game at the scorer's table, fucking walk in here to this microphone. I'm seriously, I'm still burning up inside. I'm gonna run through a brick wall for this guy tonight. I'll tell you that right now. So amazing, seriously. Amazing when, like what you said, Matt, when you have somebody who's talented like this, what just can come out of them. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing to me. We just sit here and talk about grass, like, but yeah. So thank you. Seriously, thank you for making that. That is I don't know how we're gonna top.
Yeah.
I feel like you know,
show's over.
You're at
it was great. That was
I was
awesome.
gonna say I feel like
again.
I feel like we went to the concert and the opener was way better than the main act, and we're fucked. We're fucked. So get ready, guys. It's gonna suck from here on out. Ray, how are you?
I'm good.
Well,
real good. I mean, the music has just blown me away.
Wait.
Ray's having flashbacks. He's back in Louisville.
I want you definitely.
I know.
He's totally back in Louisville. Ray, I need to know because I got to calibrate my mind because I don't think we've ever really talked about music much. But if you could pick one band to listen to for the rest of the time, I'll give you one act or solo artist. Who would it be?
It would definitely be Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
God, man, I kind of had that. I can kind of feel that was coming. I can see a young Ray popping in Appetite for Destruction and just losing his mind. There's no question about it.
Well, Robert Palmer knows all about this. I mean, he knows all about this because he was just looking at me stunned because I told him, sorry, if I'm listening to something, it's usually 1980s hair metal.
That's what I was gonna say. I figured maybe that you were gonna say that, you know, you talked to Robert about this because him and Axel are like real tight. You know, they talk about explosives, grass, and hair metal
ass
in their spare time.
Explosive grass and ass, baby. You know,
among other things.
Hey,
typical Thursday night.
hard to tell who could pull more, Robert Palmer or Axl Rose. It's up in the air. If it's up for debate. All right. With that being said, moving right along. What?
So for everybody watching at home, Ken is a professional lawn care applicator out of Louisville, Kentucky. And he's been at this a little while. He's actually been around the Grass Factor live stream for a long time. I remember seeing Ken's name for years, definitely years. And I feel like I got to see have more interaction with you when I was doing the Turfs Up radio show, and so it's kind of progressed there. We got to meet for the first time at the GIE. We had a great time. I was a little bit more impaired than you were, and I apologize for that. But that was my opportunity to cut loose for a little bit. But Ken, while we got you here, and we do have you here, you were trapped. We will not let you off. You can turn off your computer,
Yes.
but we've got redundancy built into this. You do not get away, sir. You have entered the war zone. Talk to us about your business. How long you been at it? Are you full time? Are you part time? Just kind of give us a rundown. How'd you get into it? How'd you get to where you are now?
Okay. Let me first start off by saying a lot of people within my circle, the We Working team, even Aldo, they call me Pastor Polo because normally when I speak, it's like I'm doing a sermon. So y'all get ready. So
Look at that.
basically, they got my little bottle of water and everything. Basically, when I started out, I just was, just cutting my lawn, just like any average person with the push mower and everything. And I used to always get asked when people would drive down the street, "Hey, do you take care of lawns? Do you cut lawns?" And I'm like, "No, nah, just cut my grass. Just take care of my grass." Well, if you ever think about it, I live right around the corner, such and such, and so on and so forth. Those things kind of stayed in my head, but I never really kind of like jumped into it until one of my friends, one close friend of mine, he was kind of like daring me, and he was like, hey, hey, I'll pay you right up front. You come cutting my grass, and he lived right down the street from me. So I was like, okay, I'll start doing a little something on the side. I got a little time to do a little something. So started doing his, and his neighbor came out. Hey, can I can't have you making his lawn look like that, and my lawn look like trash. You need to do mine too. So basically, to shorten up that story, I ended up doing just about the whole entire block. So it was me kind of just I was using my 36-inch walk behind more, just me just walking down the street because I had a truck, but I didn't have a trailer. Just walking down the street and mowing. And then I would walk my mower all the way back, get my weed eater, my blower, put it in the back of my truck, go back and go finish the job. So as that started to build and the finances started to really kind of kick in, that's when I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to start doing this here and see where it goes. And, I went to one and basically to where I am now as far as doing mowing and doing fertilization. I'm a good 48, 49, probably around as far as it counts me just going solo. But otherwise, I have fun doing it. I do a lot of things, as Turf would say. I don't have a job because I do like 15 freaking things. But I just basically love. I've always loved lawn care. I've always loved lawn care all the way back until when I used to cut for a professional company. I was young. They paid me up under the table, and they knew that. But I was fascinated by the way that the skag, because I was on a skag, the way that it laid the stripes. So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, when I get older, and I get some money, I'm going to go purchase me a skag, and that's the mower that I'm going to have, and that's the mower that I currently have right now, and that's what I do my lawn service with.
It's funny how all that comes together. And something really stuck out to me there is that you said you didn't have a job, and I know that's not true, but I think the more appropriate way to, and I like to put a corporate spin on it, right, to make everybody feel good. And my corporate spin on that phrase, because truthfully, I don't have a job either. None of us do. actually, none of the 4 here do, is that we're unemployable.
Unemployable.
Yes, we are unemployable at this point of our lives and our careers, right? Could you imagine having to go punch in and work a 9 to 5 right now? Could you imagine someone as a boss attempting to critique you on something that they know is wrong and you know is right?
Let's call him
Just
David.
have hit a point in my life where if someone did that to me, I would probably laugh at first, and then the next series of words out of my mouth would guarantee I was no longer employed. And they would be very, very colorful with lots of 4-letter words, including the F word and the S word and a C word and a D word. And it would be strung together in a very, very flowery way, right? I
See,
didn't
Matt, you are
necessarily
creative.
see myself.
You are
in the-
creative.
Yeah, exactly. Creativity's coming out now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't see
When it's
myself
time to
ending
cuss
up
somebody
here,
out.
but it just
Yeah.
happened. It happens, and and I think people are better for it, right? Because you get to spend your day self motivating, and when you got to call an audible, you can call an audible and figure things out. DeMay, you are probably the most recent unemployable person. You haven't really gone into a whole lot about it. Is now the appropriate time to talk to us a little bit about making the decision of becoming unemployable? You can give us some highlights.
I can give you some highlights. Hey, I'll say this. Your boss that you the archetype that you created right there. We'll just call him David, right? David can be a real dick, Ray. Nobody
Hey,
likes
Sean.
David.
Yep.
I wasn't gonna say it, but clearly we've just violated some kind of governmental NDA, and there's gonna be people at our doors now. Thanks. But anyhow, I will say this is I actually walked away from a really good situation. I loved my boss. I still talk to him. We had a great relationship. Probably one of the best people I ever worked for in terms of coaching my ass off, or him coaching me hard and not ever letting me have an inch, and so that was good for me to learn and grow and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, going out on my own, yeah, there's no more of that, right? You're your own self motivator, and I think that's the one thread that all four of us share is that we don't need somebody to dangle the stick or the carrot on the stick in front of us. We just go get the carrot. And I think that's the difference, right? Once you get to a certain point of, and I'm not doubting or downing anybody who wants to go work a 9 to 5. Like there's people that are wired like, hey, they just want to go do their stuff and get out and be done. And whereas you got us that, hey, I'm doing work sometimes at 12 o'clock at night, and sometimes I'm doing it at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Just depends. That's the freedom that I enjoy and I have. So I wish I could give you a better and more coherent answer than that.
No,
One thing
that's
I will say
great.
about this, I had a great conversation with Polo at GIE, and we were talking about it. And this is one of the reasons I just want to say this real quick. I'm not blowing smoke or anything, but I really respected his answer because I asked him. I said, "Hey, like, would you ever go get bigger or anything like that? Like, what's your plan?" And he was like, "Listen, I like doing what I'm doing. I like he said, he's got other things that he's into, and this gives him a little bit of the freedom to do the things that he enjoys doing, right? And he's not really willing to give that up. He would rather be a one-man band, right? And just do that. And I think in this age where you look on social media and you look at videos on YouTube and stuff like that, it's all about, oh, you got to scale your business, you got to grow, double your revenue, double your profits. It's like, why can't you just make a business that's a lifestyle and enjoy that? Like Ray has for so many years, and like Polo is doing here right now. Like I don't see anything wrong with that, and I wish that the this push or this desperation to grow and just want to blow your brains out trying to expand is just not worth it. I don't know. So anyway, I just really respected that answer. I really respected how much he was very convicted in that, and so it was cool. It was cool to hear that from somebody as I was just taking that plunge and all that kind of stuff. So I'll shut up now.
All right, and Polo, I'm gonna ask you some kind of heavy questions now. And feel free to answer as much or not as much as you want to. Um, have you encountered a point in your business yet where you feel where it has been more pain than pleasure?
Uh, More pain than pleasure. Nothing comes off the top of my head right
That's
now.
great.
Nothing comes off the top of my head right now. Majority of it is pleasure, and I would say, capping on what Ryan was saying, is not being overloaded. Um, like you said, a lot of people just want to grow, 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 expand, expand, expand. And then you get so big to the point where you're going to have to hire, hire, hire. And as you see, a lot of people are hiring, 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 and nobody wants the job, job, job. I mean, you got freaking McDonald's that are paying people 16, $17 an hour, and nobody's going to get a freaking job. So just to really just kind of like be my own, that right there keeps my mind in one space where I don't really have to be thinking about this, thinking about that you do that, that you do this, and that will invite a whole bunch of frustration and pain on me. So pleasure, pleasure.
No, that's awesome and that's commendable because I can tell you like one of the traps I continually found myself in was because I came from corporate lawn care where it was grow, 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 grow. And so I thought that when I start my business, the most important thing about having a business was to grow, 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 right? And overloaded is the perfect word to describe the situation you find yourself, especially
Hmm.
when you're not good at decision making, like is one of my main issues that I ran into in business. I would not feel comfortable making a decision because I didn't feel like I had enough education in the topic to make a decision, right? I felt comfortable as an applicator. I would have been a great employee for another application company, but as a business owner, I was not because I overloaded myself and I didn't know how to handle it when I became overloaded. And I didn't know how to get myself out of situations when I was overloaded, right? And so what do? You panic and you don't organize the direction you're going to go. You go into full-fledged panic and you're just directing energy any and every which way you possibly can to try and keep your head above water. And it's not a healthy place to be in. So when I was talking about, have you found where the business causes more pain than pleasure? That's where I was going with it is, and I think so many people fall into that trap because I think part of it too may be that they don't have another revenue stream that they could pivot towards. Um, and that's one of the things I really admire about you is that you've got enough skill sets that okay, if I'm lean on cash right here, I can also do this, I can also do this, and I can also do that. And so no one thing is pinning you to the ground with a foot on your chest and you don't know where to go, right? And so many mornings in lawn care specifically, s- I felt like someone was standing on my chest between the anxiety, the pressure, the phone ringing all the damn time, showing up
Hmm.
on lawns, people calling me lawn boy. It just like I can't take it. And it was not a healthy place to be in. Ray, I know you operate in this space of comfort as well. Talk to me. When you hear the direction Polo is right now, at least the direction he's been, and we could talk a little bit about your future plans. But does that ring a bell with you? Since I know that is kind of your wheelhouse and how you operate your business as well.
Yes, it rings a bell. And my only caution or caveat is, as a solo operator, one of the requirements is you need to be essentially an expert or beyond an expert at what you actually do. That is my, because a lot of people, they want, have fantasies about being their own boss, doing their own thing, answering to no one. However, this can get into a trap too, because if you suck at what you do, that business model is not a viable one. But on the other hand, if you're kind of in my position where I'm the person that literally gets called when they cannot trust anybody else on their property, be it another company or another person. That's the position that I'm often in.
And that's always a good place to be in too. It takes a long time to build that kind of reputation though, as well.
It takes a while, but
And-
here's the thing about doing it is that what gets you there sooner than not is you need to establish yourself as being one of the best at what you actually do.
What were
You
gonna
need to
say, Matt?
really separate yourself.
I was just gonna say that you have people that are not experts that are out there doing this and are successful, and I don't mean that to slam them. I'm just saying here's what I would say is that I think you always need to be learning and getting better. We had
Yeah.
a discussion about taking life seriously today, as it were, in one of our Discord servers, and I think people that are in this industry, in any industry, right, that are all about, hey, I can learn a little bit more and get a little bit better. And to Matt's point about the revenue stream thing is like, okay, if you are going to hang your hat on one thing, right, if it's just applications and that's it, then if you're doing that and you're successful but you're not getting better, when things get tough, i.e. fertilizer prices go through the roof, or chemical prices go through the roof, or availability is swamped and you can't get what you need or want, and you have to pivot and you don't know where to turn, you don't know what to do, that can be a scary situation too. So I think that's the reason that you try to get a little bit better, get a little bit more profitable, you get a little bit more efficient so you can take on more clients, or you just serve the clients that you have even better. And there's nothing wrong with all three of those so long as you're happy. But in order to do that, you have to take life seriously and you have to get a little bit better. So it's good conversation earlier and segued really nicely into this. I just, I think it's good. So I'm also curious too. So just from the business model setup, like as a one man band with all the other stuff you got going on, like how many clients do you serve, or how much area square footage do you take care of? I mean, what have you found to be that sweet spot for you? And hey, listen, there's no reason to get into a wiener measuring contest. That's not the point here. I'm just curious of how this sets up for you, what you got.
Right now, I'm comfortable with what I have now. The only thing now is, of course, at the GIE. Um, I met I met a really good guy that goes by the name of Dan. Y'all know Dan, and that's it. So me and Dan talked, and there's a story behind this. Point blank period. I was going to invest in getting a stinger, and just talked about it, thought about it, did all of those things. And once I had took the crew back to the hotel, I'm sitting in the lobby just kind of contemplating and thinking. And I know a lot of you all call him Robert. I call him Turf. Turf came down and we just started talking, or what I would say, chopping it up. And I was like, you know what, man, I'm thinking about really kind of getting a permagreen. And he was like, well, okay, well, why is that, or whatever, whatever. Then we kind of talked it out. And to make a long story short, I purchased a permagreen at the GIE. Now, the thing that I was thinking about is, of course, with me being a one man band, The thing that swayed my decision was I really don't do a lot of renovations. Renovations is a booger, man. I mean, especially if you're
Mhm.
doing it by yourself. But the one thing that I do a lot of, and I'm getting into more and more and more, and like what you were saying, you have to continuously continue to keep learning because there's always something to learn, and that's fertilizing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make this investment, and I'm going to purchase this machine, and hopefully that can be able to take the load off of me having to pull my spreader out, load it up, do this, do that, walk around with the backpack sprayer, loading it up, going this place and that place, and I can just put everything in the permagreen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I was sharing with the crew is I have a couple of lawns that are right around the corner from each other, and just let's just hypothetically say that it takes me about like 20 minutes to take care of one lawn. That's spreading granular, then coming back and spraying. That's pulling up, unloading, doing what I have to do, loading up, going to the next one, right? Um, when I did all three of these, I was basically done in like 20 minutes. So
Holy shit.
the thing that I thought about, Ryan, I was like, okay, if it normally takes me an hour to do three of them, but it took me 20 minutes to do three of them. Now I can be able to grab a little bit more, but not going to the point where I'm overextending
Right.
because
You
I
got to
already
increase the
know where
time.
my max. Exactly. So I was like, all right, okay, I'm going to go ahead and stick with this. Um, and another thing that I had shared with the crew, I've just been blessed to not have to go out and solicit myself. And that's not to say anything's wrong with it as far as with your business, whether you're doing door hangers or you're going from, door to door or whatever the case may be. A lot of people have been coming to me just off of the strength of how I'm making people's lawns look. And I was like, you know what, that right there, I can rock with that. I can
Mm-hmm.
rock with that. We actually having not had to go out and go say, hey, I can do this and I can do that and selling myself. No, they're actually coming to me. And this is so funny how I could be cutting a line or fertilizing a line, and you'll see them ride by, and then you see the tail lights, and then they'll back all the way up. Hey, come here. Hey, come on, pull out my granny voice here in a minute. Hey, come here.
Oh,
Such and such and such. So I mean, it's
hey.
it's, it's just a blessing to be able to.
Well, you ruined my joke there when you said the granny, because I was going to say you totally need to invest in some bumper stickers that said "I backed that ass up for Polo Fields Lawn Care Service." Ah, somebody get on that today. Somebody get on
Yes,
that today. We
yes,
need that.
yes. I like that. I like
Seriously,
that.
though,
I like that.
as a solo business operator, the most important thing that has, segued into this is that as a solo operator, I feel like it is very important that your work and quality of work is literally able to sell itself, because
Yep.
guess how much time or money I spend on advertising or promotion?
About as much as you spend on tofu and
Crap.
lab grown meat.
Yeah.
As much
Psilocybin
as I spend on
mushrooms.
tofu? Yep. Yep. Exactly. And
MDMA.
because
Speedballs.
the truth is that I
Rest
have
in
the
peace,
stop
Carboner.
cars, and I also get the calls out of nowhere where I get on the other end, they're saying, I understand you do such and such as lawn. That lawn looks not real. That lawn looks not real. That looks like fake grass. So that's versus you going door to door, pasting up flyers, whatever. And basically, I'm of the opinion too, where if I need to do that, I think there's something wrong. I think
Well,
there's
hang on.
something way
Hang on. I'll play the balance in this scenario. Because I've been there. I've knocked on many, many tens of thousands of doors across my career.
Tens of
And
thousands for
sometimes,
real.
oh yeah, dude.
Oh,
Listen, when
boy.
I was at
Hard in the paint.
Drew
Hard in the
Green,
paint.
when I was at Fairway Lawns, what do you think I did on the weekends? I wanted those sales bonuses. I was out knocking doors all damn day. Smooth talking, hype train, just fired up at the door. Sir, I am going to spray your lawn today. Let me tell you, 3 weeks from now, you're going to think I'm an absolute psychopath. 3 months from now, you're never going to hire another lawn service again. Do you get where I'm going with this? All right, let's get going. And that is, I mean, for years, I did that for years. And then
now
when I
you're
went into business with myself, I'm still doing the same thing now. No different.
Going to cracked in hydroponic stores and stuff.
Hey, which is funny. That's where
we need an update on that too later. We need an update on that later. That's a hell of a story. Well, that's more of a burn and return story, but
it was. I was door knocking on a damn hydroponic store when I met Ryan and Ray. I mean, not a lot has changed. I still hustle door to door. That's what I do. But when I went into business for myself, and when you do that, and you've got 0 customers, and you've got a wife and a kid at home, and you're wondering how the hell you're going to make any money, you got to knock on doors to get those first customers going, right? And so there I wouldn't say there's anything necessarily inherently wrong with it. When you got to put a little money in your pocket, how are you going to make money? Well, you got to go ask to work for somebody, right? And so I'm definitely not shy about that, and I definitely don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. It's in we can go real deep into the market, but I kind of wanted to touch back on your decision to invest in a piece of equipment and why I think that's actually a very smart thing to do, and what makes you so much exceptionally smarter is the fact that you invested in a permagreen, because we know that every other machine on the face of the planet is garbage. I'm teasing, of course. I'm the permagreen fanboy of permagreen fanboys here, but my point being
Matt's just trying to trigger someone.
Shit posting in real life. My point is that you are not just investing in your business, you're actually investing in yourself. And when you're a solo operator, you are the person that has to get up in the morning. It's your legs that have to be able to perform the work. It's your brain that has to be sharp enough to make the appropriate decisions. And investing in a piece of equipment that will save your legs, save your back, and save your mind to make the best decisions possible while you're out in the field is the smartest decision you can make. The caveat to that, or it's not even a caveat, is that the double bonus on the back end of that is that now you can take on additional work without becoming overloaded because your workday was just shortened so much. So it's a win-win in all aspects. You get to go harder, longer, and you get to take on additional customers because your time of actual work for the day has shrunk so much, right? And so it doesn't, it only makes sense to acquire the tools that make your life easier, just like having the SCAG does, right? And before we get into the argument of SCAG versus Exmark or whatever, and I've mowed probably more grass with a SCAG than I have any other mower, so you're in good comfort here. But it's what you feel comfortable with too, right? And you feel the SCAG caught your eye. You've got the most experience on it now. You feel comfortable with it. You know how to fix it but you can hear something going wrong with it before it actually breaks at this point because it's an extension of you. And it's the same thing with a permagreen or whatever machine you choose to go with. It becomes an extension of you, and whatever you feel most comfortable with, and then run with it. And I mean run fucking hard with it too.
Yeah, I mean, and it's let me clear it up for the audience. It's a perma-green, but of course I call it a polo green. So you can clear that up. But yes, it most definitely and that's the thing that I was thinking about. Of course, that was a tough decision for me, and what I'm going to go into, you all forgive me, it's going to lead into the GIE night. Um, because I love renovating. I love renovating. I have videos about renovating lawns, and I think the video that I put on my channel, the lawn is about like 13,000, probably almost 14,000 square foot. And you're talking about renovating that whole entire line, starting over from scratch, seeing that grass grow, seeing how that grass comes in. So to go to the GIE, and um, Stinger is actually located up here where they manufacture their aerators. To think, okay, man, I can sit up there and actually go do more renovations, and I can just ride the back of this thing, just boom, 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 just knock them things out. But I mean, renovation still is a lot of wear and tear on your body, regardless of how you look at it. But still, I had to look at, as far as me doing fertilization. Yes, I can be able to take on more work. Yes, I can be able to do my jobs more effectively, and I'm not tired at the end of the day. I'm fine because I've been basically just kind of riding all day. So that there was a great decision that was made, and you all have to forgive me. So I know that you all are going to sit up here and talk about. I know Aldo's going to say it. You're going to type in Spinelli's. Lord Jesus, why did y'all go to that place?
Mm.
But
Why?
but I mean, that's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well,
Spinelli's
I
is the only pizza place that's probably open here by like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So
correct.
it's like White
Can't
Castles.
can't
It's like White Castle.
can't confirm. It's open. It did the job.
It's open. It's open. It's open. And it's open for a reason, because the only people that are up that late are, they ain't walking a straight line. But when when we was at the place, as far as doing the karaoke and all those things, man, I was there. I was there. We were just kind of like hanging back, just talking, just chopping it up and everything. And the only thing that I could really think about was, okay, getting this permagreen. Where do you go from here, as far as for the future? That was the only thing that was on my mind. Not to take away from all of the fun and
Oh
everything
yeah.
that was had. That was the only thing that I was really kind of homing on, thinking about, just like, oh man, I'm going ready to do this, and then I'm gonna do this. So I had to really kind of remove myself, even though Matt was over having such a wonderful time. I had to remove myself, because I was like, I gotta go. I don't want to sit up here and just look like the black sheep sitting over here, and everybody's having fun, dancing, just woo, and I'm sitting over here in deep thought, just just sitting up here looking like I
Well,
don't belong.
you just dropped
You know
a
what,
significant
Polo?
amount of cash, though. Like I get it. Like that's a
You know
big
what,
deal.
Polo?
What did I
Here's
just
how.
do?
Yeah, yeah. You just dropped a significant amount of money, but then here's how I look at it. Okay, here's how I look at it all: is in business, for me, when I do something like that, I feel, or I have this sense where, if I do this and if it makes sense, it's almost like Kevin Costner plowing up his cornfield and turning it into a baseball field. If you do it, if you build it, they will come. But in my
Yes, he did
case,
it. He did it.
if I buy it, if I buy it, I'm gonna have it, and because I have it, uh, the work then finds me, because Matt, to bring that point, there is a month that doesn't go by where I'm not starting up the Geo Ripper. Okay, and that's a not insignificant investment either, because that thing's almost $4,000.
Yeah.
That's almost $4,000, but I'm making my share of trouble with it.
As you should.
And that's go.
You go ahead. You go, DeMay. You go.
Mm.
You go.
No, I'm just saying, like, you're sitting there thinking all you can do with it and everything, but it starts out with simple math. I mean, you just said you're doing basically, you went from 3 yards in an hour up to as many as 9 yards in an hour, right? So you just increased your throughput that much, right? So you can start figuring out your ROI and how quickly it's going to come back to you, and that's how you have to look at it. And I see people, even successful, what we would consider to be successful people, profitable people, how should I say that, that buy stuff and have no idea what their numbers are, and it gets them in trouble sometimes. So you're not wrong for sitting there contemplating the biggest purchase of your, or one of the biggest purchases that your business has taken on so far. So don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Plus,
yeah.
No.
And people are built differently. Listen, when I sign checks like that, the first thing I do is I go to the bar and I drink and pretend like I just didn't do that. So, everybody's built a little different.
And I wasn't beating myself up or anything like that. It was just that's all I could think about. That's all I can think about. And I really was going down the road as far as, okay, I test drove it, did all those things, worked, me and Dan talked and did all that. I had ample enough time to kind of work with it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna, because my first permagreen. And yes, I was looking at other pieces of equipment, but the permagreen just kind of like it was my type of moment, walking up to it. So I was just like, man, I can honestly do this and I can do this, and then when I get home, I will be fine. I won't be worn out. And it just that was all that I was thinking about, just business first. On the flip side of that, man, I wanted to have fun, man, with you all, man. I wanted to sit over there. Man, the footage that I seen.
Everybody kept their clothes on, but everything else was on the table, I think, that night.
Let me tell you something. There's several reasons why, and shout out to my man Turf. I love you, my brother. There's certain reasons why I'm wearing this shirt. Turf cheated, okay? Because in the beginning of that night, when there was some issues with Ray, I'm gonna just leave it right there. Turf cheated and got Ray where Ray needed to be. Yeah. So of course,
it was not only Robert. It was a total collaboration where.
Oh, okay, okay. Because all I seen was Turf.
No, because the fact of the matter is that I thought, okay, now what the hell? And next thing I know, there's Turf, and then there's Lushy Jr., and I think
I'll tell you how this all went down. I'll tell you how this all went down. I wasn't there. I was in the back. So they came back and they said, hey, listen, Ray can't come in. And we're like, both Palmer and I were like, bullshit. Like, we're so, of course, Lushy, angry New England masshole, hears this. He gets all bent out of shape. He's had a few BS by that point. And,
already.
So we all sort of fell into our role. So I went and found the back gate. Lushy grabbed Lushy Jr. and Robert went into full mission planning mode. We pulled out the phone. We found the way back. We found out, okay, hey, we did a little orienteering to figure out, okay, hey, like there's our stars. Okay, yep, we're gonna go this way. and yeah, it just made it work, man. It was good. It was good. We got
See-
Ray
you
in,
see the-
and then the best part was the end of the night.
all-
The end of the night when Ray walks out and the bouncer was like, "Hey, how'd you get in here?" Yeah, how did the 50-year-old Hawaiian guy get in here? I don't know. Without an ID, that's for sure,
Yeah.
pal. Huh? Bye.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, 50. I'm damn 50. I mean, what the hell? I mean, but aside from that, yeah, it was a matter of Lushy Jr. and Turf seeing me in front, and he goes, "Come on, Ray, we know how to fix this." And it's, "Okay,
We know
let's
how to
go.
fix this.
Let's go.
And-
And then my immediate thought was, yeah, you don't tell the army guy no. You don't tell the army guy no. I mean, it's like
Now he didn't
you're in
say
a
it.
world of trouble.
He didn't say it, but I'm pretty sure that the next move was going to resort to Turf putting the bouncer in a sleeper hold and making him pass out for a little bit in that little alleyway, so Ray could just walk right in.
Yeah.
It could have happened too.
Yeah.
It could have.
and see from my point of view, I was standing there talking to the guy. I'm talking to the guy, right? And I'm like, "What's going on? What's the big deal, man? I mean, dude, look at him. What's the problem?" And out of my peripheral vision, I see Turf like, and I just see him getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And they hit that corner, and I was like, "See, look at Turf. Look at him. Look at him. He's on a mission right about now." And then all of a sudden, I go in and I see Ray, and I'm like, "See, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's all love." Man.
Yeah, rumor has it he killed the
And-
guy. I don't know that to be fact, but that was the
Yeah.
rumor.
To try that.
But the funny thing is that as I said on another show, I then proceeded to do exactly what that bouncer thought I was going to do.
Got in and had a damn good time.
It was.
Yeah,
It
well-
was. Here's the thing: is that I would say this is that it speaks volumes about our community because I will say this is that golf it has a very, very high sense of camaraderie amongst the professionals that are in that side of it. Sports turf, close but not quite as much as golf, and lawn care is like way down here. I mean, it is much more like, hey, you're my competition. I'm not going to hang with you because whatever. And I think this community and like the We Working crew and all, like, I think everybody's just out to help each other because, and I'll tell you why. It goes back to the earlier statements that we had is that the people that hang with us just want to learn. Like they know that their knowledge base is never finished, that the science is not finite, and the ability to improve oneself, make more money, get better, get bigger, whatever it is that your goal is completely in front of you. You're never going to reach it, right? You're never going to get there. So keep chasing it, keep doing the right things, and things just tend to work out. So I thought it was really cool that we all just got to hang and nobody was like, well, hey man, like I did, 600K in business last year. Would you? Oh man, like the 2 million.
Right.
Like, nobody was getting into a prick waving contest. It was just hang,
I went bankrupt.
chill. Matt, I have to tell you, can I tell you rule number 1 of the prick waving contest? You have to get it up to win. And
That's why I got on TRT. I'm good now.
do we have the
I'm
do
like
we
a
have the
flagpole.
do we have the tuba noise from Price is Right? Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. Hey, listen, Matt. Here's what happened.
Debbie Downer.
You went to the wheel and you spun 95 both times. Just it was bad luck. You wanted to push it for that last 5 cents. You couldn't do it.
That's
We
me in a
still love you
nutshell.
though. We still love you. You're gonna go home with a sailboat and 2 reclining chairs that have a toilet in them, so you can shit yourself while you're watching television. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that was that's the thing is that at no time is this about okay, who's got more customers, who's who's got more equipment. I mean, to me, that is not what it's about because, okay, my question is that with the customers that and equipment that you have, what do you do? What do you produce? Okay, that is my bottom line because you see that grass behind me? There's a story behind that grass.
Oh, it's back there. I see it now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Ray,
Story
I
be-
swear to
the sto-
God, someday we're gonna figure out a way for you to come live remote from that lawn and freak everybody the fuck out. That's what I want to see.
Well, better
We-
better hurry up because I'm also scaring my customers in another way.
Wait. Are you gonna have our friend
this
come out
5G
and do the
segment?
five? No, it's not 5G. He's gonna have our compatriot come out there and do the 5-step lawn test in Hawaii again for the second year in a row. The world, the world tour.
No, not him, not him. Lord, no, because besides that,
Aw.
I also don't want to get elbowed in the chest either. Not
Well,
really,
I
because if that
mean,
happens,
hey,
then I'm really gonna have to hurt him. Okay, I'm gonna have to
Yeah, we
hurt
don't wanna do
him.
we
in
don't want to do that. Go on.
But in any case, yeah, the reason why I'm scaring these people is I say there's a remote possibility that I'm not going to be here to take care of your lawn anymore.
Boom, boom, boom. Look at this guy. Look at this guy dropping hints, dropping secrets.
Dropping
Say,
hints.
you know what?
Watch out, mainland. Watch
That's
out,
right. Hey,
mainland. You
I've
have
already
no
filled out
idea
the
what's coming.
SBA application for the Herbicide Hall of Fame. I'll have you know. So Ray here. So back to so tell me about the accounts you guys take care of now. So with being Louisville, I'm assuming mostly cool season, but I'm sure there's some warm season. What do you got grass wise? And let's talk about some of the issues that have come up that you got to push yourself a little bit to learn about and figure out how to make better.
Majority of the lines up here are cool season, and there is some lines. I do have some lines that does have some Bermuda in it. It's got that gift that keeps giving, that weed that we won't talk about. But um, majority of them are cool season lawns. So the one thing that I normally will deal with a lot throughout the whole entire season, and it's continuously teaching me, and I'm learning more about it, is funguses. Um, I had Okay. Let me just put it this way: it's all weather permitted, but normally around Derby time. Okay, this is the analysis that I'm coming up with now. That's when it starts to get a little sticky. So a couple of years ago, I was just learning as I go, as I'm still learning now. But when I would apply a fungicide, I was missing that window. So I'm getting hit with brown patch and things of that nature. It wasn't until 1 year, and I actually have a picture on that, where in my ditch area, I started to get hit with Pythium blight. And it was that picture right there. So it was one of those things where you lay down, you go to bed, you get up, boom. What in the world is this? So, of course, as you can see, my mower tracks from me taking my scag in that little area, that whole entire area, sometimes when it rains, it'll just hold water. Of course, the water runs a certain type of way. So once I started to kind of get hit with brown patch, and not just in my line, but in others as well. Brown patch, and then experiencing Pythium blight, those things. It made me dive deeper into it because the window for fungus is derby time all the way up until the weather wants to stop acting right. So even after September, I have a video that I put up, the lawn that I renovated, or the one that I did the video on. I had everything planned out, right? And this is when we had Pete on our we working live stream. Everything planned out. I'm gonna go up here the day of. I'm just doing a short video. I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna show this line, how the grasses came in. Everything is money green. Bam, everything is just hitting in the right direction. I go up there, got my little shirt on and everything, and looking all professional for the camera. Just I'm ready to go, right? And as I'm surveying the line with my phone, I start seeing some mycelium. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is Pythium. This is Pythium. So I literally had to leave, drive a good 8-9 miles away, go change, come back, have my Sudo Max and everything and spray. And then I had to, that's what the video was basically about. And I was kind of giving the message to the people saying, look, man, don't lose heart just because everybody wants their renovations to go well. Everyone wants things to go well. But whenever you have setbacks, there's always a lesson in it. So get the lesson. That's the main thing. But Pythium, brown patch, those things, it's just known to, you're just known to have diseases around here, just in this particular area. And that's the reason why I've just kind of really wanted to share with people just different things about those diseases, things that you can be able to do, products that they probably possibly can be able to use. A lot of those products are, they're not made for homeowners to sit up there and buy, but that's one of the things that kind of just like but it's something that you learn about that every year, because you can get a fungus in this line, it won't be anything, and then the next year you turn around, you get a fungus in this line, and the line that got fungus, I mean, it's kind of like a hit and miss every now and then. So that's something that kind of keeps me going, shall I say. So
There is in our area, because I'm not too far south from you. It's not a matter of if you get disease; it's when you get disease.
there you go.
And you can do just about everything imaginable, but when at the end of the day, right plant, right place. Arguably, is tall fescue the right plant for what we're dealing with here, or even Kentucky bluegrass? Is that the right plant where we are now, and how our summers look, and uh, everything being pushed forward a little bit earlier now, and it's different, and we have to adapt to that. And unfortunately, genetics are not quite there at the point of being able to allow for 100% efficacy against. You can have a turf grass that scores really, really well in the NTEP on brown patch resistance, but
Hmm.
the difference between scoring a 7.3 and a 9 is the difference between you having 30% coverage of brown patch and 0% coverage of brown patch, right? And you think about it, you have a yard with 30% brown patch for an applicator. We pull up, we see that. We, you're thinking, do I turn around and go home? Do I cancel this customer? Do I call them and tell them? How the hell do I? It's panic mode, right? You think about that shit before you go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you're thinking about. And there's it presents just a whole new set of dilemmas. And until you get a few seasons under your belt, watching it, tracking the trends, recording the data,
Hmm.
I saw it on this date. These were the conditions on this date. These were the 10 previous weather conditions on the 10 previous days. then you can start to see trends, right? And then that way, as it starts to develop in the future, you've got a game plan that, okay, I'm looking at my future cast. This looks like I'm going to be in a world of hurt. Let's go ahead and start moving on. And that, that's one of those things you can teach that and teach that and teach that, but until you experience it, and
Yeah.
not just from a physical standpoint, but experience it from an emotional standpoint, especially if you take this shit serious, it's a completely different animal than just being a lawn boy. You know what I mean? Of just being the guy making the application on the because it just hits different when you pull up and you see your yard in that kind of condition, especially when you saw it 2 days before and it was blowing from outer space. So
And
I
and the thing, let me
go ahead.
interject, Matt, really quick.
Yep.
The thing about it is when a person, when a customer loves their line, okay. I have a video on a customer's lawn that got hit. I renovated their lawn, loved it. Whole cul-de-sac. They loved the lawn. Beautiful. Beautifulest thing ever. Of course, it's surrounded around a bunch of Bermuda and tall fescue lawns. So this guy calls me on a Monday, beginning of the week. Man, my grass is brown. I don't understand. What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? Like, well, dude, I don't know. Send me some pictures and then I'll come out and take a look at it and see. And this is right in the window where somebody let the army worms out of the cage and they went crazy, right? So
Oh.
it was just basically it was hitting everywhere. Now, none of my people's lines that I take care of got hit with army, but I do have a bunch of lawn care buddies whose lawns they get hit with it, right? So that's the only thing I'm thinking about. That's all you see on freaking YouTube. You hear about it on the news. Just these, people's grass just turning brown. Like, all right, let me drive up here. Let me go up here and go see what's going on. I'm going up there and I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm gonna just grab me some army worms. Man, just grab me army worms. I get out of the truck. The first thing I see is mycelium everywhere. So I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So I'm just looking like he comes outside. Man, you see that stuff, man? I say, man, look, this ain't no army worms. Because the first thing that triggered me is, of course, the grass is brown over here and then it's green. And it's the army worms are right there just kind of eating away, eating the green grass, right? And I'm like, man, this is army worms, man. I get up close and I look at it and I start seeing the mycelium. I'm just like, got to be kidding me. And it was like one of those things I've learned from watching Matt that when you pull up to a place, you pull up with everything that you need. I would have had to drive a long way to go get what I needed and then come all the way back because he said that he's seen the brown spots in his yard on a Saturday. By the time Monday got here, he was like, "Man, it's just my whole side is gone." And of course, once I fixed everything and measured everything and did all of that, it was about 2,500, almost 3,000 square foot. That was done, roasted, toasted, out of there. So it was one of those things where I was just like, it's another learning experience. And of course, once I get out there, I get to looking, I get to seeing that he has a commercial mower. I'm looking at his tracks, I'm looking at his downspout, seeing where the water's running. I'm just, the foot tracking area over here and this and that. And I'm kind of just adding everything up. And I'm like, man, okay, this is what we're gonna have to do. And it's not one of those things where it's a upsell for me, sort of like you let your work speak for itself. It's one of those things where, okay, you see what happened to your line, right? You called me. I didn't come out here and plant nothing in your yard. You called me. So what we're going to have to do next year is we're going to have to put you on a program so that you hopefully won't experience this again and then have to go through having me come out here and purchasing seed and seed. Lord Jesus, seed is just it's spiked up. It's everything. It's just everything's gone up, right? So it's like, you won't have to hopefully go through these things again. You live and you learn. You live and you learn. Get some out of this lesson here. So I didn't have to sit up there and really, yeah, man, you need to get this, and then we need to start applying some insecticides and such and so on and so forth. I don't have to say anything. I'm here to help you. I'm here to correct this. I'm here to go ahead and take care of this for you and then get some new grass down so that you can continue having a good lawn that you have so that it won't be an eyesore to you and your neighbors and everybody that comes over and looks at your beautiful lawn and it's everywhere you barbecue at. Let's go ahead and take care of this so that we won't have to visit this hopefully again next year. Now, what and there's other things I'm not going to keep on blabbering on, but that's other things that I'll talk to him about as far as, doing something with his downspouts and maybe, having extension somewhere, doing all those things. But it's one of those things where you just, me personally up here in this area, you're just going to always go through that. You're going to always go through it. And to me, it's one of those things where you will always learn. So that's just really been really this year a big teacher to me is dealing with a lot of funguses, seeing a lot of people with funguses in their lawns, having a lot of lawn care companies come to me saying, "Hey, what is this? I'm showing you this on my phone. Can you help a brother out?" And it's one of those things where okay, yeah, I know exactly what that is. Um, this is what they may need to do, or if you're taking care of it, or True Green or whatever the case may be, this is what you have, this is what you're dealing with, this is what you're going to deal with. And if you don't take care of it, depending on what type of fungus this is, yeah, you may be digging in your pockets later on. So sorry to drag it out.
And
All right.
You're good.
no problem. No problem. You're good. You're good. Because here's my most feared thing. And because you basically triggered me, okay? You know, when you said subdue Max, I was triggered. And do you know why I was triggered?
Oh no.
Because subdue Max is typically pulled out when you have active and emergent Pisium infection right now. Because in my line of work, by the time I start to see brown spot, I'm too late. Because right before I met up with Matt and Ryan in in the States, I put the lawns that I know get these kind of things on the STFU and don't get the sniffles mix. Because
Never heard.
Green Doc, your bedside manner is so becoming.
because my disease time runs from October till April or May. That's my disease season. And last thing I'd want is for somebody to be emailing me or even calling me telling me that there are these brown patches or spots opening up in their lawn. And when you said Pisium, I know what Pisium is. I also know what brown patch is too. I know quite well what brown patch is, and armyworm. I know what armyworm is too. And by the way, this is the time of the year where armyworm can be especially hungry.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
it.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's right. I mean, and if you don't have your shit together in my area, you don't get to enjoy Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's because you're going to hear about lawns with brown patches in them at that time.
For control measures, DeMay, let's go through this link you shared here, and
Yeah, I've got a
highlight
couple
some
of them I
things to
want
us
to
here.
share.
This is some good stuff here.
Yeah, so what we talk about learning and where some of these resources are. I will be dead honest with you that Polo, a lot of what I know is not necessarily what I know, but I know where to go to get the answer or who to go to get the answer. And building out that network is so huge for people that want to learn and be successful business owners, or if you're a DIY or whatever, is build out that network. Always be looking to add people you know that are smart. So we've got a little link here, maybe. Hey, it's back.
Hey,
Hey,
there it is.
Go.
jump over to the 2021 Fungicide report, J Pink. I'm sorry.
If you go to the there he is.
The summer research report. Yeah. Here's a good one. Go down. It should have the brown patch lawn. Let's click on that real quick. The report. And then we can do photos. So it's 2.5-inch tall fescue. So, Paul, this is in Madison, Wisconsin. Not necessarily indicative of the climate of Louisville, but they still get pressure up there. It's still good to kind of have something to work with. So they're talking about sprayable and granular fungicides, which, hey, Ray, we know how I feel about it, but they perform pretty well in this particular situation
You
here.
see, that works before you have a problem.
Onset,
versus,
yes.
Versus, I don't care what kind of prophylactic you use, but it's too late for the prophylactic when you get the text or the phone call that says, "Honey, I'm late."
Yep. Hey, I love you, sweetheart. I love
Another
you.
one?
Yeah. Damn, I'm good. So
Swimmers are swimming.
Never. I can't say that one. Never mind. So all treatments initiated here on June 10th. So in your neck of the woods, I'd put you about 4 weeks ahead of these cats easily. So we're at about Derby time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of when you have to start. They inoculated some of these plots. So they took active disease and inoculated, but the other ones here, you'll notice they talked about they double bagged it, Ray, double covered them with evergreen tarps to try and juice that stuff up and get some disease in there.
Force the infection. Yep.
Correct. So basically what they're saying is their non-treated controls had about 25% disease by the 24th of August, right? So the study runs about, 10, 11 weeks, something like that. All fungicide treatments significantly reduced brown patch severity. Okay, liquid treatments and the Headway G provided the best brown spot brown patch suppression. They missed a word there. Go on down here to the table real quick, J Pink. So they look at the brown patch severity. So they're looking at a percent of the stand here in this top table, showing you what approximate percentage of the turf is infected with brown patch. So you can see there the Pillar SC, the liquid treatment, doing real well. That Exoxy 2 Select also doing real well. Armada, little chink in the armor there on the 11th of August, but it got through. It recovered. Okay, and your Headway G. So these are when they were rated. I believe they made let's see here. Yeah, 3 apps in total. So monthly apps here on 28-day intervals. Okay, and then here's your turf mean quality across these plots. So interesting stuff here, Polo, to look at just in terms of, with the fungicide program, it's starting on time. And we had a really good discussion about brown patch with Paul Outlaw, who I don't know if he's still in the chat or not, but hey, Paul.
What's up, Paul?
We had a good chat related to brown patch, and with him being in the Carolinas, I think not too dissimilar from what you would face. So that's real good, and I think it's good to look at these resources. The other thing, let me pull this up. I think I got the right link here. I will send this over, J Pink, and we can take a look at this one real quick. Yeah. Throw this one up.
This is always a good
Now,
one.
Matt, this one's interesting, and I honestly,
Yes.
I think I glanced at this a long time ago, but didn't really digest it, and now I
I
am.
have
And
read this motherfucker. I can't tell you how many times, and I still, get
don't get it.
nervous. It makes
Well,
me nervous.
so so Polo, the whole idea, like people say if you juice this stuff up with N, especially in the summertime on tall fescue, you're leaving yourself more susceptible. So, of course, the turf pathologist at NC State said, "Hey, let's try to go break this shit and see what we can do." Right. So they were giving, you can see here, the pounds of N per year going down the table here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 6, and then they had 0 here. So you can see the months of application, the turf quality that they're rating here, and then they're looking. I want you to look specifically each year at the brown patch severity. Now, Ray, for the folks that didn't pass stats, what do all those A's mean right down that column right there? Those lowercase A's.
Those lowercase A's. Oh man.
No statistical difference, right, Ray?
Yeah. Zero difference. Zero difference. And at this point, at least for nitrogen on turf type tall fescue, there's little to no statistical difference. However, here's the caveat to this.
Uh-huh.
The caveat to this is that your disease severity is also influenced by turf density and amount of moisture and ability to maintain that turf at your desired height of cut. Because you see, under a high nitrogen regime, what typically happens in a non-golf or non-sports field situation is a lot of nitrogen means that whoever's cutting the grass can't keep up with it.
Yeah,
That's
and in that
reality.
case, this is sort of like the self-fulfilling prophecy here, Polo, is like you don't want to you want to fertilize and keep it nice and green, but you don't want to create more work and more of a hassle so that if you're coming back every 7 days it looks like a jungle, right? And
Right.
so I think the moral of the story here is that they did see some differences in a few of these years, not huge, but enough to be statistically different. So that 3 pounds thing is, it still holds true, but if you need to be a little bit higher, basically what this is saying is at least on urea in North Carolina, things seemed to be pretty close, unless you approach 6 pounds, which if you're running a lawn care program that you're selling to a homeowner on 6 pounds, like I'm sure there's some guys out there, right? Matt, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. Yeah, there are, buddy.
On
Yes,
cool
there
season?
are. On cool season, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Who
Do
are
that
these
too.
people,
Yeah.
and what
They're out
kind of
there to
vacations do
make.
they get from yeah. You get to
Well,
go
they
to
don't mow. I promise you that. These guys do not mow. I didn't either. So I
Well,
may
and
or
that
may
dude,
not have had a couple people that got 6 pounds in.
I do find that fascinating. I've never really like thought about that, and especially like in the one man band, like this is all sort of coming together. But it is an interesting. Like it's nice. We always bitch about that, right? Um, well, hey, you're this lawn boy, but you don't mow, you don't control the irrigation, any of the other, the mowing, anything that gets done on the lawn. So, of course, you're the scapegoat. But that control that we all would love to have, Polo has that. And I think that's a very powerful thing. Now, it's also a fine line. There's more stuff to manage, there's more plates to juggle, all that kind of stuff. But what do you think about that? What do you think about that, Polo? Is that like, if it would it be more simple if it was just one thing, or would you rather be the cook that's got like 6 dishes going on the, on the flat top, and you're just firing out orders out the window?
The simplicity is the best way to go. Um,
Says the
it's,
guy who's
it's,
got like six gigs and he's making music on one take for our dumb little show because he loves us.
that's
I have to
that's the
counter,
best way.
but I have to counterpoint.
Okay.
Because by being in control of everything,
Yeah.
you make it extremely simple. Because if I didn't have as much control as I do, here's who I'd have to be keeping track of or dealing with and being down their throat all the time. I'd have to be on the mowing person's ass.
Hmm.
And I'd also have to be on the irrigation person's ass too. Because I don't care what I'm able to apply to a lawn if the mowing is not correct and there's an issue with the irrigation or the watering.
Can I tell a
I mean,
true story?
I cannot
Matt, do you
outspray
tell any
that.
fake stories ever?
Nope, but this one's always fun. So I had a customer, lakefront property, beautiful piece of property, kind of cut out into the woods,
A
and
lakefront lawn?
y-
A lakeside lawn?
Lakeside, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, the
I don't know
lakeside
where we're going
lawn.
with this.
Did you have like short, like almost up to your guts cutoffs and no shirt?
No, but that was pretty close to my work uniform. But I show up to this property, and this dude, he was a super high end client. He lived in South Africa part of the year, and then he was in the U.S. part of the year, and
Damn.
he was gone. I thought, and I showed
Oh
up,
boy.
and this yard had been scalped. This tall fescue lawn had been scalped to half an inch. I mean, there was nothing less left except for exposed crowns of the plant. And I
Wow.
walked this thing, and I was actually on the phone with another lawn guy at the time, Josh Whitaker in Nashville, and I was losing my mind. And this is like June or July time frame. It's been cut down to half an inch. I'm stomping around this yard, and I'm like, well, I've got to fertilize to try and get some tissue back in it. And it's, not the kind of year where I need to be doing this, but you got to do what you got to do kind of thing. And I get back on the permagreen, and I ride down, and I get into the backyard, and I see this, and it just crawls all over me. And I am screaming in this backyard. I'm screaming, these dumb motherfuckers. I can't believe they fucking cut it this low. Just boop, 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 boop,
Beep
boop,
beep
boop.
beep beep beep.
And I think the guy's out of the country, and so I'm really getting my frustration out of my system right now. And I make a turn at one end of the driveway, and I look up, and there's the homeowner standing on the back porch.
Oh.
And
I
I
thought you
was
were gonna say it
like,
was the guys with the straight jacket.
I was the one in the straitjacket, and so I
There's a
think he was
mental
highly
Tennessee
confused.
fan on my lawn.
Yeah, and I was like, I turned off the permagreen. He was like, I just came out to check on you. It sounded like you were having a real hard time out here. Are you okay? And I was like, listen, buddy, no, I'm not okay. Who cut your yard? He's like, yeah, one of the old retired guys up the road was, wanted to do it. I let him do it. And I was like, do you not think this looks a little bit ridiculous? And he's like, yeah, but I mean, just grass that'll grow back. I'm like, no, 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 no. And part of it is that I'm selling from my own pocketbook, right? And I know what I charge this guy to do his yard, and I don't, I don't know why did I even bring that up? True story though. I told that that story in the professional lawn care applicator group on Facebook, and I ended up getting into a fight with that guy. Was talking about how unprofessional that was of me. And
Oh, come on. Hey,
what
listen.
really stuck out was that, first off, that guy ever thought I had a shred of professionalism in treating lawns ever.
Can we say that? Highly qualified unprofessional. That's your job title, I
Yes,
think.
I always had a hat on backwards. I'm always buttoned down 2 buttons. You know,
3?
years previous
3.
up to that, normally I had a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. At this time, I didn't. So I wasn't exactly the beacon of professionalism, walking around with my shirt untucked and stuff, and stomping mud holes and screaming F words while I ride around on the yard of permagreen. So I had words with that guy accusing me of attempting to be professional. I was like, no, 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 no. That is not the direction I'm trying to go. But
What Polo? Have you had any difficult? And I mean, don't share anything if it's a current customer or something. But any difficult situations with customers yet? Like
One that I
conversations or them bitching or what?
one that I well, let me see. As far as anybody
Is there-
complaining, no. I had one that I no longer have anymore. And this was a couple of years back. Just me, I'm just doing my normal thing, just cutting lines on the street, and some people are, hey, I like that line, can you do mine the same? Okay, cool. So I cut this one lady's lawn, and it's a mix. It's got tall fescue and Bermuda in it. I'm making this thing look good, right? I'm making this thing shine, right? I'm sitting up there, I'm telling this lady,
right?
look, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get this line together, baby. We're gonna get this line right now. It's looking crappy, but we're gonna get this line together. So I'm getting this line looking good. I mean, really good. Striping it up. People are commenting on it. She's giving me stories and doing all those things. What I did was I put my feelings into her line.
Dangerous.
And yes, yes. I've been saying it all night. You gotta learn, right? You gotta get the lesson out of it. So what she did was trying to, per se, save money. She let her son cut her yard with a raggedy, old, beat up, non rusty blades, non sharpened blade push mower. And this joker cut. I mean, I'm cutting this thing at a decent height. I think I was probably around between maybe 3.5, 3 and 3/4, maybe probably somewhere around that range, between 3.5 and 4. She sits up there and she lets him cut it, and this joker cuts the grass really low. I mean, just patches of grass, dead grass. I mean, grass just everywhere, right? So I'm coming over that week to go ahead and service her lawn and the others that are on that block. And I look down there because the grass is normally green. Looking at it and it's brown. I'm like, what in the world? Was anyone sprayed that grass? And I go down there and I start seeing all the clumps everywhere. And she comes out, oh yeah, I'll let my son cut the grass, and I'll just see you next week. And I'm looking at her like, everything that Matt was saying was was going on in my head, right? And I'm like, So, needless to say, I don't cut her grass anymore. But she can just she just looks at all the other lines on the street that has good lines. But I mean that it just went up one way and then down another, and I was just like, okay, what I'm going to have to start doing. Like I said, this was a couple years ago. I'm going to have to stop putting my feelings into people's lines, because one of my main objective, besides me going out and going to cut one of my friends' lawns, my main objective was to try to make people's lawns look like mine or better. That's what I want to do. I'm here to try to have your line looking the best that it can look, regardless of where we got to go, what we got to do. Getting soil tests and doing all those things. I want your line to look good. That's the intentions I had with that particular lady. But when she did that, and don't take it the wrong way. I'm not trying to say, oh, you like to be in control, or you like to do your control. No,
No.
I'm not. I'm not. But when someone sits up there and does that, and they don't know what they're doing, because that line right there, when that happened, that line suffered for a while because we were going into the heat, and it suffered. Now the Bermuda grass didn't, but that fescue took a beating. So it was just one of those things. I was like, okay, from now on, don't put your feelings into people's lines. Don't do that. Go out and do your job. Go do your job, and then just go on to the next one, because people will surprise you. They'll surprise you, and then you'll be like Matt. You'll be sitting up there just saying every word, one of his special talents, where every word comes out. And you're just like, no.
Or
So
you'll get to the point where you just, if somebody comes outside and asks you a question, you're like, I'm done. I'm not treating your yard anymore. And they're like, I was just gonna ask what you were applying. You're like, no, I'm not treating your yard anymore. You don't trust me. I don't trust you. I'm not treating your yard. And they're towards the end of me running routes every day. I mean, I had become so hostile because I never could detach the emotion from it, right? Every time I took a cancel, I wanted to call and fight with whoever called and cancel. Even if they told me the most horrific story, like, oh, we're having to cut finances because my wife got laid off. I'll be like, does your wife earn all the fucking money? Why are you canceling me over it? Can't you cut out something else? How many times they pick up trash a week at your fucking house? And it makes no sense, right? And you walk away and you're like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person. Like, you need to stop that. And it happens.
Okay, Polo, that
Mr. Jekyll Lawns.
yeah, that whole scenario is where I have a nickname here in Hawaii.
Oh boy.
No, it's not a bad one. Oh, maybe it is. Some people call me the lawn Nazi. Styled after Seinfeld's Soup Nazi. And the reason why is because, related to that situation that you had where you got that one lawn to look great, and then all it takes is someone that doesn't understand what they're doing and a clapped out push mower to ruin all of your good work. I literally tell people all I want on this lawn is your feet, your kids' feet, your cat's feet, your dog's feet, and water. Anything else, please don't.
Let me ask you this, Ken. Have you been in the position where you've been accused of killing a yard yet?
no, but I've been in the position this year, beginning of this year, where I've been accused of planting weeds in a person's lawn. Let me give you the story.
Yes,
Let me
please
give you
do.
the story. Let me give you the story. So I go out to this person's lawn, brand new, customer. Yeah, man, I'm just digging, your work and this and that. I'm seeing your videos, yada yada yada. Come hook a brother up. All right. And I go out there, see some it's beginning of the year. So I'm seeing not a lot of weed pressure, but just a little bit, right? So where the temperature is starting to break, it's time to go ahead and get these fertilizers down, to get these pre-emergence in, doing all those things or whatever. So I have no idea what this guy did last year. So I go up there. It is not that I'm trying to impress or anything like that, but I did pull out my secret weapon. I pulled out the Carbonex. I went out there and I threw some of that Carbonex down. I threw some of that down, right? And sprayed the weeds that I sprayed, did all of that. Everything is lovely. I called the guy and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go ahead and come out and start taking care of your lawn. I'm pretty sure you've greened up like really nice. You probably have the greenest lawn on the block right now. What is all of these purple flowers and stuff everywhere? Huh? What are you talking? Yeah, these purple flowers. Where did these come from? I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm gonna come out there and come look. I said, I put down some fertilizer. I didn't put down any weeds. What you talking about, Jack? So this guy basically he had a whole bunch of henbit that popped up. And I'm like, dude, that stuff was there from last year. I ain't put no henbit in your yard. And the only thing that I know that grows really fast is ryegrass. I said it ain't been that long since the last time I've been up here. It hasn't been that long at all. So where we going here? And we have our little conversation and everything, but it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna deal with this joker here. I'm not gonna deal with this. You've already showed me how you are right now. This is the first initial application. You've already showed me you didn't show me your hand, buddy. Nah, two fingers. I'll holler at you, and I'll just let you go ahead. You and your henbit, y'all can have just a wonderful night, a wonderful day, because the henbit that you have in your yard, it's gonna be in your yard next year, and probably the year after, and probably the year after that. Because you're not gonna do the right thing to take care of it and get it out of your line. So yeah, two fingers. You can go ahead and do what you need to
Okay.
do.
And it'll
You know,
continue. You'll come across so many like I brought up the being accused of killing a yard thing, and the reason why I brought that up is that I always tell people that whenever you're accused of killing a yard, regardless of how stumped you are at what's going on, do not
Don't
admit
admit
to it.
anything.
Yes,
I knew he
until
was gonna
you
say
have
that. I knew he
exhausted
was gonna say
every
that.
piece of research that you possibly can, and then come back and say it. Now, if you went out there and you were running a hot herbicide mix or something, that may be something you want to get out in front of and maybe even leave a note or tell them prior to making an application, like, due to the severity of the weed pressure you have in your yard, I'm going to have to get a little bit nutty today, and we're going to burn it down, but it will return just fine. There'll be an RAP. So I understand, certain scenarios like that. But if you went out and you sprayed a fungicide and they call back, 3 weeks later and they're like, "You killed my yard," well, you know damn well you didn't kill our yard, right? And
Right.
so
Well,
don't show up there and let them beat you into, trying to admit to something you didn't do from the get go. Exhaust every effort possible to figure out what a logical solution is and what actually led to what took place. Because I'm telling you that from on the corporate side, lawn care side of things, I watched so many technicians be accused of killing a yard, and instead of having that argument with the customer in the driveway, they were like, "You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right." And then you're out there on a Saturday sodding the yard. You're every piece of the $4,000 aside you laid, you're screaming in the back of your head, especially when you didn't kill it, right? But you got suckered into this, and they're threatening to put you all over, Facebook or Nextdoor or whatever app people are using right now. So,
no,
I bring it up to say that shit happens, and be mentally prepared for it to happen, because it will. It will definitely happen.
we need to do a
hey,
what we need to do is a Jesse Bousquet video, a proud sponsor of Burn and Return. And you only make those appointments to go check out those lawns on Friday, Matt, because what is it? It's Shut the Fuck Up Friday. You don't admit to
well,
anything. Am I free to go?
Yeah.
Am I being detained? I will not answer any of your
And-
questions about the lawn. It's not any of your business what I sprayed.
You know,
Go on, Ray.
Ken, that whole weed scenario is something that I have to get in front of and be in front of right from the get go. Because typically, what I deal with are lawns that have not seen even proper irrigation and fertilization. So, the 1st thing that happens when I get those issues in order are the weeds. And my usual sermon to my customers relate or centers around look it. The reason why you've never seen this before is because the jerk wagon that was taking care of your lawn previously would come and mow the lawn all the time, but no fertilizer, irrigation, whatever. So, congratulations to him for bullshitting you all this time as to how many weeds you actually have in your lawn.
Mm.
And I put it to them in that manner. Again,
I
my
think
bedside manner.
there's a certain of one of the things that took me a long time to learn, specifically in lawn care, was um, setting expectations. And Demay, you harp on this a lot, and it's always a difficult thing to do. And it's like, for instance, Ken, you keep talking about all the learning experiences, right? I think all those learning experiences parlay back into how you sell your programs, how you sell lawn care, how you set expectations with your customers, right? Because it's something you can go into and you see a freshly seeded tall fescue yard, and they're just dumping the water to it, and it'll be like, okay, let's have a real serious conversation here. That there's a very high probability, and due to the climate we face here, you're probably going to face Pythium at some point in the next 12 months. Now I want to get out in front of it with you so you understand that if you wake up one day and 30% of your lawn's dead, and the previous day 0% of it was dead, that's what's happening. I can come fix it, but you have to be my eyes and ears out here, right? It's little things like that start to accumulate through those learning lessons that become part of your pitch, part of your customer communication model. Um, I tell you, like, when another example from corporate lawn care was um, I had a customer that only wanted 4 applications in a year, right? And I was trying to think about the best program that would, and he's like, yeah, I just don't want the weeds. I definitely don't want you fertilizing it because it's going to grow like hell, but I want the weeds cut down, right? And I get out there and I see he's got a fair amount of Dallas grass, and but I'm thinking, like, okay, how do I tackle the Dallas grass, and how do I still prevent weeds? And so I set up a program with a 4-app program where I was going to do a single pre-emergent in the spring. I was going to do 2 apps of, at the time MSMA was legal. I was going to do 2 apps of MSMA, and then I was going to do a single pre-emergent in the fall. And that was about as good as I could get out of that scenario. But the part I didn't take into consideration there was that my application interval on those 2 summertime MSMA applications were going to be 45 days apart. And that's not how MSMA works. And so in my head, it made sense, because I didn't have the experience, I did not take into consideration that there was a 45-day interval there. And so when I go out to make that second application, effectively, it's like I'm still making my first application on it. And it's, it was just through experience. And you go back and you think about it after the fact. And I was like, well, I should have sold it as uh, it, where I worked, we had a separate program called the grass weed control program. I should have sold a spring pre-emergent and a fall spring pre-emergent and 2 apps of grass weed control, where I have more flexibility over the scheduling. I can schedule them, at 15-day intervals, and that's no problem. That would have been a much better program for me to sell. Probably that guy would have been happy, but I can tell you that after I made the second MSMA, well, 3 weeks after the second MSMA application, he's like, "No, you're not doing shit for my Dallas grass. Get the fuck off my yard. I'm not paying you anything." I'm like, "Oh man, wow, I screwed the pooch on that one," and I did because I didn't set the expectations correctly and I didn't sell the correct program. And a lot of that, why I didn't do that, is that I had the tools and I had the knowledge of how to do it, but I didn't have the experience to be able to recall and tap in on how to get that accomplished at the intervals I was looking for. Right. So,
Well, I was a couple things I'll say to that because you're right. It is a big thing for me, like in my job, but it's also something that I coach people on too, in terms of how to do it, like within the organizations that I work with or with lawn care operators, anybody really, is, first of all, I think you have to have a standardized process of how you assess a lawn in the beginning. And I don't mean the 5-step one that we were joking about before, because that one's bullshit. But I think there are ways, and it'd be something good to talk about and riff on a burn and return or something like that, or with a guest here soon. A good wintertime topic of kind of formalizing some of your processes and procedures and things like that. And the reason I say that is it kind of gives you a snapshot and it gives you a way to present that to the customer of, hey, here are some of the, here's some of the low hanging fruit that we can take care of easily, make things look better. Here are some of the things that we're going to address, that are a little bit more challenging, right? That you might see around for a year or 2 or 3 before we can really get rid of it. And then maybe here's some special situations that require what Matt said, a special program for us to eradicate, change, whatever the case might be. The other thing I'll say too is, and I know it gets tough, is you get more customers and things like that, but just take a few photos, send them a quick email. I know it's a lot. I know it gets kind of time consuming, but especially if you see something that changes or something different or something weird. A program that I like to use, it's like $10 a month. It's Loom, LOOM.com. It's a easy way to make, if you're not used to making YouTube videos, it's an easy way to just voice over something and it uploads to the cloud immediately. You send somebody a link, you talking over some pictures or some video or something like that, and it's a great way to communicate. People really respond well to it, and had people that have used that tactic too, and it really helps. So just some things of just over communicate. Nobody's going to get pissed off at you. Well, I don't know. You could send the wrong message, Matt, if that naked guy, if you were over communicating with him, that might have
yeah, that would not
sent,
be.
yeah.
Yeah,
I-
that
Or
would,
the
that would not
lady-
be good.
taking your relationship
But-
to the next level.
But
Treat his backyard too.
9:30. My husband's still on the truck, and I've got margaritas. No, ma'am.
Oh,
no, thank you.
God.
No,
No,
ma'am.
thank you. But
You think you think the rim of that glass has salt or no salt, Matthew?
That salty ass bitch is fucking loaded with it.
or does it just crush up a roofie?
Let me tell you, if this lady roofied herself, it would not shock me, because this woman was plumb crazy. And I'm 23 years old, and running a truck at True Green, and my first corporate job, and I'm all, I'm going through this stage of my life where I realize, like, oh my God, I'm a number. Like, when you have a corporate job, you're just a number, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm a number, and I'm graded on everything I do out here, and you got to be every prim and proper, set your cones out when you stop to treat the yard and stuff. And this lady's over here telling me to come have margaritas with her. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I made a series of really bad decisions to end up here.
or
But it was a one-off experience, so
or you could have a retired Navy guy try to grope you. Right? You could have a retired Navy guy try to grope you, and
I think Ken's
Robert may
business
have some
model
jokes
is
about
to
Navy guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, there is no wrong hole, right? So the thing I think Ken is probably striving for is Gibby is having sane customers. That'll actually be one of the qualifying questions. When you go out, yeah. So you have any mental health illness in the family? Anything I should know about?
to me, I I put it out there that okay, you have me as your service provider. I'm the one that's the control freak. I'm the
Yeah.
one that's the crazy son of a bitch. Any questions?
Yeah.
I just have to put it out there because if I don't put it out there, that's when a lot of misunderstanding and miscommunication begins. If I fail to put that out there.
And I think that's something else too with the expectations piece is when something does go
Yeah.
wrong. I know we said admit to nothing, but a lot of times, I don't know, 8, 9 times out of 10, especially if you're just spraying and mowing, like or just spraying, it's usually something that is not within our control, right? I found it.
Mhm.
It was at University of Missouri. Their plant pathology lab puts out the stats every year of all the samples they take
Mhm.
in. So they take in a couple thousand samples, and anywhere from like 60 to 70% of those samples that get sent in that somebody's like, hey, something's wrong with it. I don't know what the hell it is, and I need you to tell me. 60 to 70% of those are abiotic, non-living organisms that are causing that issue, right? And that's, it's like when you go to the doctor, Ray or Ken, and they say, oh, you're sick. It looks like you have a virus. So, go home, rest, hydrate, whatever, and I'll take that $30 copay whenever you get a chance. So it's always the old reliable for the pathologist. And it just goes to show you though that a lot of times it's stuff we can't control. It's environmental stresses, it's mechanical stresses, traffic stress, things like that, that it's very limited the time that you're there 5, 6 times on that property every year. And hey, live to see another day. But you know what? It's a season of rebirth. In fall and spring, we can grow more grass, right, Matt? It's not the end of the world. We got a chance here.
It
Ken,
ain't. And
go ahead.
go ahead,
Go
Matt.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was about to say, um, when you that's something that I always let people know, whether I'm dealing with them or I'm trying to help them out, share some information with them. You coming and taking on a line at the beginning of the year, I'm letting the customer know I have no idea what your line looked like last year. I don't know who cut it. I don't know how you fertilized it. I don't know what your soil looks like. I don't know anything. So with me coming onto your line, I'm going to, do what I need to do to try to get your line to the best that you would like it to be. But you may have some weed pressure. You probably got a bunch of crabgrass seeds in this line somewhere or something. A bunch of this, a bunch of that, especially if I'm just coming just to fertilize it. I don't know. So this is a learning experience for both of us because I'm starting to learn your line and you're starting to learn me. And I'm really just reacting off of your line from the jump until we really dive into soil tests and pH and doing all those things or whatnot. We have to take this journey together, and that's one thing that I'm most proud of with the people that I do deal with is I have a relationship with every last one of them. Um, they're comfortable now to the point where they treat me like True Green. True Green, where the person just comes and just sprays your lawn and they leave the note, the little tag on your door. I don't even know if they even leave that now. They probably just send you an email and then they're gone. And of course, on that tag, it has everything that they put down, did all that stuff or whatever. The average person has absolutely no idea what all of that stuff is at all. I was one of them years ago. I used to have Scotch when it was Scotch. They used to treat my lawn, and then it turned over to True Green. But once I got to start looking at all of the fine print, and I started figuring out, hey, maybe I can kind of do some of these things on my own. But that was years ago. But a lot of them are comfortable because of the results that they see when I do make applications on their line. but I'm always open to sharing with them and then letting them know, hey, this is the issue that we have. This is what we need to do. This is the results we're going to be shooting for. This is what we're going to be aiming for. And of course, once they see the results and they see the progression, they start to get more comfortable. And I love that. I would love to, even though my time is limited, I would love to sit down and kind of like talk with everybody about lawns and about this and about how the grass looks. And then they show me pictures of what their grass used to look like and what person cut it before and how it's just looking so awesome and beautiful now. But I just love to have that close relationship with the people. And of course,
I'm
if
glad you
if
do.
things do get a little bit um well, I won't say they'll get out of hand, because I can say that someone that has over 100 clients probably can't. You're talking about multiple people that you probably cannot do that. But I have the ability to be able to do that with my people, and that's one thing that I enjoy.
I miss those days when I enjoyed that.
Well,
I
So
did.
much-
I
that's
got
so
so
much-
jaded that when people came outside, I mean, it was like now again, even as a solo guy, I had 230 yards, and so I mean, it's gangbusters all the time. So it changed the way I looked at people, the way I looked at customers, the way I scheduled customers. You know, I made a note that if they came out and talked to me at this time, I was going to ask them, "Why are you home? Why are you outside talking to me?" They're like, "Oh, well, I'm off on Tuesdays or whatever." Like, all right, not coming here on a Tuesday ever again. Make sure I don't ever encounter this person. If they, and if they talked a lot, you better believe they were getting a big ass price increase at the end of the year. If they were one of those people that come out and chaw for 20 minutes, I'm like, well, I'm factoring that in. Your price is going up to $80 an app for your 4,000 square foot yard. Because you panic when you gotta hurry up and get to the next yard, and old boy wants to
Right.
talk for 20 minutes, and it's a 7-minute yard. Dude, I gotta go, man. I've
Oh,
gotten 4 phone calls since I've been here talking to you. I have to go. It just
I I
it, it happens.
I have a customer like that. Lord bless his heart. Bless his heart. He he does it just about all the time. And I've just come to the conclusion that when I come to his lawn, I know we're going to try to talk. We're going to talk for at least a good 5 minutes. But I've developed a plan, and this is my plan. When he comes out, because he always comes out, he always speaks. He's in my senior saint group. When he comes out, he's always coming out when I'm cutting. Now, what I used to do out of respect, when he would come out, and I still respect him, when he would come out, I pull the handles back, go ahead and cut the blades off, cut the mower off. Hey, how you doing, mister? And such, so on and so forth, and talk. Now what I do is when he comes out, I don't pull them handlebars out. I don't disengage the blades. I just be like, huh? Huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I go on about my business, because you are right. Once you have a route and you're going to be at this place for 20 minutes and then this place for 25 minutes and then so on and so forth. It's good to stay on your schedule.
Yeah,
Especially
you
when
have
you
to.
have that many lines, because you will get behind. Lord Jesus, especially when the time goes back and it starts to get dark early, you're really in trouble. So
Yeah.
you don't have time to sit up there and have a 10-15 minute conversation about what somebody's grandkids and did at the circus. You don't have time for that. So that's and I'm not, he knows I'm not trying to be rude. I think he gets the picture now. But I started doing that, and I started noticing that when he come out, he'll just hit me with a, "Hey, how you doing, Polo?" And then he go about his business. He don't even come up and walk to me anymore. Now I kind of hit him like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then I just be gone. I just be gone. Two fingers, and you have a blessed day.
It's I don't know, man. I look back on it now. It's kind of endearing, But I think about, from a business management standpoint, those are some of those things that I wish I would have done sooner, right? But again, it's all learning experience, and it's not until it becomes a pain point for me. And my mistake was that I waited till it became so painful that I had to do something about it. And I wish I would have been over the years, more proactive about that. Ken, we got to start wrapping this up. Do you have any final questions for us before we get out of here and move on to the show after the show?
Do I have any questions for you all? Let me say this. The only thing that I would say is, you all please continue to keep doing what you're doing on this show. You all have influenced a lot of people that are in the chat, a lot of people that watch you every single week. You all give out so much information that helps people. Matt, like what you were saying at the beginning of the show, I was tuning in back when you came on Sundays, and even up until the radio show, Pick the Doc's Brain, everything that we're doing now. You're constantly learning about something, whether it's about soil tests, it's about fertilizers, it's about fungicides, it's about just the way that you should run your business, the do's and the don'ts. It's very good to be surrounded around people that have the knowledge and the wisdom that can be able to help you in your journey, wherever you want to go in your life. I've taken those things and applied them to myself, to my business, and try to help people as much as I can. So that's one thing that I would really want to say is y'all a good group of guys. I don't care what nobody say about you. Y'all good group of guys, man. Keep it up. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Don't stop the burning returns. Don't stop this. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting out that information, because it's a lot of people that are learning. It's a lot of people that are growing, and a lot of people wouldn't be in the positions that they're in right now if it wasn't for you all having these live streams.
The preacher laid it on us. We're going to head to the show after the show. Thank you, Ken. Thank you for coming on. We're going to head to the show after the show. If you don't know what we're talking about, that's where grown men do grown men things. And, sometimes you got to plug gear. Sometimes you got to turn it off, and there ain't nothing wrong with that either. We totally understand. If you're into that, you know what to do. If not, no problem, no harm, no foul. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a fantastic evening.